Hey guys! So today I'm going to do my top 10 artists that inspire me. This was set by my tutor and I thought, fuck it, let's do it in video form and it's easier and I'm not going to be stood in front of a class going, so this. So yeah, so number 10, Richard Bellingham. His most famous series is Raise a Laugh. It's one of my favourites and it's awesome. It's very, very raw. He's an English photographer and he documented his mum and dad. His mum's like obese and heavily tattooed and his dad's like a really like drunk person. And they're all like shot on really cheap, out of date, crappy film and it just looks so 90s, you know, it's just brilliant. One of my favourites is Untitled, RAL 20, which is one with the jigsaw, and it's like, and I like her face in it and how he's composed it, and like, you know, it kind of shows like her character and how she's doing things. Untitled RAL 28 is one with the cat, and it's like flying through the air and it's really, really bizarre and weird. Like it's just like, it's like something you see like Salvador Dali like painting. It's like really, really weird. It's like the cat's flying. It's beautiful. And then there's the toilet one where his dad is sat astray from the toilet and is sick everywhere. And this is a really, really raw thing to me. It shows the decline of his father's health and how like he deals with it on a day-to-day basis, because obviously he's absolutely fucking pissed. Number 9, Vincent van Gogh. One of my favourite quotes from his is, "As we advance in life, it becomes more and more difficult, but in fighting the difficulties, the most strength of the heart is developed." And I think that's really, really sweet. And it's kind of ironic because he died, but in that I guess he came out of his misery. He was born in the Netherlands and died in 1890 at the age of 37, which was quite young. He was a post-impressionist painter, and he's most famous for Starry, Starry Night. Well, Starry Night, the song that was inspired by it was Starry, Starry Night, aka Vincent. One of my favourites is Skull of a Skeleton with a Burning Cigarette. It's very, very tonal. It's very like very dark, very cynical, very, you know, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but like it has a dark underlaying underneath it. And also self-portrait with bandaged ear. I mean, he cut off his own ear in a fit of rage. The painting itself shows decline of his mental health and just his persona and how he was at the time, you know, like it shows a lot of emotion and things like that. So number 8, Tracey Emin. Now a lot of people don't like Tracey Emin, but I do, and I know I can hear all my classmates going, oh, because a lot of people in my class don't like Tracey Emin. She's very, very controversial. She's very much a feminist. She's has a lot of things to do with sex, particularly in her early work. So yeah, she was born in Surrey, in England. A few of my favourite works are Everyone I Ever Slept With, which is one of my famous works, which basically like says all the names of all the people she slept with from 1963 to 1995. And a lot of people, like particularly people she slept with, were very, very dodgy about it, you know, because they didn't like being mentioned or named, you know. In other words, My Bed, which is featured in the Tate, and I've been to see that myself. And yeah, it's quite impressive, but like it kind of shows the kind of person she was or is. I'm not really sure. You know, she might have cleaned up a little bit by then. You know, it's just like, it's mean. And I can kind of relate to it myself, because like there's like, I'm not an alcoholic or anything, but like, I've seen like student bedrooms, you know, and you know there was like condoms everywhere and like all sorts of shit and fags and yeah, you know, like it's very much a lazy lady's bedroom. um, and I like her neon work, and I also, probably the most inspirational thing for me about her work is why I never became a dancer. I will play a short clip of it for you now, and I think you'll kind of get the gist why. It's inspirational to me because she's very like raw and very honest, and just the way she kind of pulls it off is just wow.
I never liked school. I was always late. In fact, I hated it. So at 13 I left. And then there was sex. It was something you could just do. And it was for free. Sex was something simple. You'd go to a pub, you'd walk home, have fish and chips, then sex. On a beach, down an alley, a green, a park, even a hotel. It didn't matter that I was young, 13, 14. It didn't matter that they were men of 19, 20, 25, 26. It never crossed my mind to ask them what the attraction was. I knew. Sex was what it was. And it could be good, really something. I remember the first time someone asked me to grab their balls. I remember the power it gave me. But it wasn't always like that. Sometimes they'd just come, and then they'd leave me there, wherever I was, half naked. But there were no morals or rules or judgments. I just did what I wanted to do. The reasons why these men wanted to fuck me, a girl of 14, was because they weren't men. They were less than human. They were pathetic. Sex for me had been an adventure, a learning. I was the innocent. Some wild escape from all the shit that surrounded me.
Number 7. Gustav Klimt. I love his work. I studied him in secondary school, and yeah, I just love his work. One of his most famous is The Kiss. He's an Austrian well, he was an Austrian painter, and he was born in Austria and then died in Vienna. He mainly did painting. I also like, I think it's Diane, something like that. I can't pronounce it. And like I just love like the gold and the way that the pieces like form into the background. I also like the embrace. Like there's very much a sexual air about it, and it's really really interesting. And like a lot of his work has been like fabricated into like towels and posters and all this bullshit, but like the actual pieces themselves, like when you see them, are absolutely fucking beautiful. So I recommend looking into him. Number 6
with
Hamburg,
Stuart
when in the early days,
Sutcliffe.
and hasn't really got much recognition as a Beatle, but like people are starting to recognise him more. He was engaged to a German photographer called Astrid Kircher, and like there was such a lovely couple. Astrid's hair inspired the Beatles to do the kind of bowl cut kind of thing that they did, so that was cool. One of my favourites is Hamburg painting number 2. It's very abstract, it's very blocky, it's very textured and gorgeous, and I really, really, really wish I had enough money to buy it myself. And then there's Untitled Red Portrait, which is very ambienty and very emotional, and just the eyes are just wow on it. And like a lot of his work is very much blocky and things. There's another Untitled one which is very lucky, and he uses oils in this one, and it's just so colourful and oh, so cool. Jan, sorry if I say this wrong, Svanmaker. He's a filmmaker from Czechoslovakia. He does a lot of surreal animation. One of my favourites is Jabberwocky, where it's you go into a wardrobe that's in a forest and there's a playroom, and it's really, really weird, and it's really, really cool. Also, Darkness Like Darkness is where it's just like a head and it's all clay animation, and eventually you get this like man body thing, and it's really, really, really like weird and surreal and like awesome. I'll put all the links to everything in the below. Now one of my favorite one is Dolls, the Dolls one there, but I cannot find the name of it. Tries my might, but like it's always down as Creepy Dolls, and it's like I can't find it. But like they basically have a tea party. I will play it for you now. Number 4, Caravan Gallery. They're coming up to Mima in Middlesbrough for all you northern folk. Woohoo! And I will be going to go see them, and I cannot wait to see them. Woo 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 woo. So yeah, I like they're very, very tongue in cheek. They're like really, really funny, and like they go around this little yellow caravan. These 2 photographers, and just take pictures, like really ironic, weird pictures everywhere. One of my favourites is the Primark one, the Gnomes, the Bastard, and Don't Piss. I will include them somewhere. Number 3, Bill Viola. He currently has an exhibition on in St Paul's Cathedral in London called Martyrs. I was going to go see it, but unfortunately we went too late, and there was a service, so it was like, oh god, run out. It focuses by now like the fundamental like human experience of death, birth, and the aspects of consciousness. I went to go see one of his pieces where like you're in this very black room and all you hear is like these different sounds. He also does a lot of work with water. Like there's several photographs. They're very, very atmospheric and really, really cool. So go check him out. He inspires me. Like I really, really want to do some work with water in my own work, maybe in 2nd year. So hopefully that could be cool, because I have like a photography qualification, so and I'm okay at taking photographs if I don't say myself. So Number 2, Yoko Ono. She is primarily known for being John Lennon's wife, be it that second wife. And one of my favourite pieces of hers is Wishing Tree, and I hope that she makes one again like in UK and I can add something to it, because like I think it's kind of sweet and stuff like that. She does a lot of environmental work and a lot of anti-art. Flux, she was very much of the Fluxus movement back in the 60s, and a couple of bits like Cut Piece challenge human reaction and how people react to different situations. cut pieces basically where they cut off her clothes until she's in her underwear. Various random people just take scissors and like kind of like it can in them doing that they kind of show their awkwardness and their ability to react with other people. So yeah, her son also does music and art, so go check him out. Seen Lennon, and also Yoko Ono did music such as Remember Love, which is my favourite songs, and Mummy Lost a Hand in the Snow, Don't Worry Kayoko, which is really, really, really strange. You know, it's like she's a very high-pitched voice, so go check her out. And last but not least, number 1, Hieronymus Bosch. Very, very surreal artist. He's been around me all my life. When I was a little kid, we used to have a print in the living room of Dante's Inferno. Very, very like dark, surreal. Like it's very, very like atmospheric. It's like there's a lot to do with biblical aspects to it, like the 7 deadly sins and temptation and hell and like Judgment Day and things like that. And it's very, you know, daunting and demonic and just filled with very striking images. And I once did a project on the 7 deadly sins inspired by him, and a lot of my painting, when I do painting, is inspired by his surrealist style. And I personally think he's better than Salvador Dali. But Salvador Dali is up there, like, but he doesn't really kind of like, I don't know, like if I had to choose between the two, it would be Hieronymus. They were kind of like at loggerheads, so I didn't really know which one to choose because they've both been around me from a very young age and they've both been very inspirational to me. So yeah, that's everything. So that is my top 10 artists. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. See ya!